What's up, everybody, and welcome to Truth with Tara. I have a real treat for you today. I have Danny Brevic, also known as Big Brev, also known, to me anyway, endearingly as the Operatic Nordic Viking man that you never knew you needed in your life. Danny, thank you so much for being on today.
Yes, thanks for having me. This is exciting.
So I first heard of you, I think it was on Instagram and TikTok, and I fell in love with first your beard and then your voice. And I know that you have so many amazing pearls of wisdom that you're going to share with our viewers today. And just so you know, for you guys who are watching, any comments, any questions that you have, put them in the chat, because we look over those and we want to address those, and maybe Danny will even go in there and answer you when he sees them. So as I said in the intro, Danny, you are actually classically trained, and to look at you, this is why you can never judge a book by its cover. To look at you, you would never guess that. Like, you look like you belong on a Harley Davidson somewhere in the middle of like East Montana. I don't know. And so tell me how that even came about. Like, you don't just sing subharmonic, insanely low, hard to even decipher ear-wise notes. Like, no, you actually can sing high, and you are actually classically trained. Tell me how that even became a thing in your life. Give us a little bit of background for those who don't know.
So, it's quite the story. So usually, you're right. I definitely don't look like an opera singer. Most people come up and ask if I'm a pro wrestler. Usually the first question I get when I'm out is, "Yo, bro, what do you bench?" It's never like, "Hey, do you sing?" Person. Yeah. Oh no, my answer's quick. I always just say I bench 135. What do you bench? And 135 is not a lot of weight, so they're never expecting.
Right. That's hilarious. So unassuming.
I'm quick with it. I've been asked it enough, and it always throws them off. They're like, "Wait, is he messing with me?"
Right.
So how did it all start? I mean, I started singing from a high chair. Before I could really even talk, I would just kind of hum and sing in the high chair. My mom and my dad didn't think anything of it, of course, at the time, because I was just a baby, right?
Right.
But as I kept growing up, getting older, I loved just singing in the radio, always in the car. I loved singing along. Like, we had the Queen greatest hits. I used to jam out to that. My dad had Foreigner. I loved Foreigner. I used to jam out to Foreigner, and I just loved singing in the car, but I never did it in school. None of my friends knew that I could sing until this one year. Now, this is going back there. I was in 7th grade. I think it was like year 2001. Yeah, roughly that year. Well, there was a commercial that was like just going all over like Nickelodeon and all the channels that I watched. And I don't know why this exact commercial was on Nickelodeon, but it was Anne Murray's greatest hits album, and it just played like literally every 15 minutes. They were just shoving this album down our throat, and wow. I just got so used to hearing it that I would mimic it every time it came on, like in the synchronized order of the songs. I would just blast it out. And one day I was in school. I went into 7th grade, Mr. Collins' math class, and I just started mimicking Anne Murray, and the whole class was just like, "What? He sounds just like that commercial," because they had all heard it too. Next thing I knew, Mr. Collins was going and getting other teachers from other classrooms to bring them in to listen to, like, "Yo, listen to this kid sing." And next thing I know, like, it's lunch. I'm at lunch that same day. The chorus teacher comes down to the cafeteria. He's like, "Hey, everyone's been talking about you're singing." She's like, "Can you sing for me?" So I just stood up right there in the cafeteria and just belted it out. Yeah, I just went for it. And Miss Stinson was the chorus teacher. She ended up building like really the whole choral program around me. And then my other friend, Erica, she was really good too. And there was a few other good singers, and we were the core group there. That really started in 7th grade. And so what she did was she had me audition for the regional choir. It's called Districts in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I know Districts, yeah.
And so I auditioned for Districts. Mind you, it was my first year singing. Got a really high score, and then sure enough, I got a solo like at the Districts choir. So I got really showcased very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Right then and there, starting in 7th grade. And 8th grade, same thing. Did Districts, did all that. And then went to high school, and there wasn't a choir when I was in 9th grade in high school. And so I kind of slipped through for that year, and Miss Stinson ended up kind of like, she was worried about it because she wanted me to keep singing. And so she
Hmm.
ended up building a community choir at the town I grew up in Holliston. This is Holliston, Massachusetts. And
Okay.
she built a community choir for me and for like really for my friend Erica too. And then there was a few of us that she just wanted to keep us going because there was no choir. And that allowed us that opportunity to continue singing in that choir. And she used to tell me though, she used to say, I hear opera in your future. Now, I never thought anything of it because I certainly wasn't singing opera. Like when I was in that community choir, I did a lot of classic rock. I did a lot of R&B. I did a ton of like old like jazzy songs from the Great American Songbook, stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that. That
Hmm.
that was mainly my jam. I didn't even opera wasn't on my radar at all. Ended up going through like we eventually did get a chorus teacher at the high school, built a really nice choir. And one day, his name was Mr. Britton. He sat me down and was like, "Hey, what do you want to do when you grow up?" Now, mind you, I was severely ADHD. I had terrible grades. I was a troublemaker. I mean, I got detentions and suspensions all the time. My
Wow.
only real anchor was singing and lifting weights. Those were my two things. Um, and I told him, I was like, I feel like I'd like to just keep singing. Like, that's my thing. And he was like, yeah, I think if you really go for it, you could do it. He's like, so where are you auditioning? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, you didn't sign up for any auditions? And I had no idea what I was doing. So he sat me down and he called Plymouth State University in New Hampshire. And the only reason he called that was because earlier that day, one of my friends mentioned that school to me. That's the only reason we called that school. Because I was like, I don't know. I heard
Okay.
Plymouth State has a decent program, which is, I mean, that's a stretch. Like it was a very small program. It was great
All
for
right.
me, but like it was a small program. And so he calls him on the phone. He gets the chair of the department on the phone, and sure enough, they squeezed me in for an audition. Drove up to Plymouth State like a few weeks later, auditioned, got into Plymouth State, and that's where I went. I went to Plymouth State. Like it just kind of by chance fell into place like that. And at Plymouth State, I focused in musical theater. I loved doing the musicals. I loved doing the shows. That was my main jam. That and the a cappella group. I loved that. But my voice teacher, my very first voice teacher at Plymouth State, he too like wanted me to sing some opera. And what was frustrating for me was I kept bringing in like jazzy songs, and he would have me sing them operatically, and I was just wasn't
Mm,
really into that. And so finally, he
right.
was like, "All right, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna sing the jazz songs, but you're gonna sing one aria." And he gave me an aria, and I sang it as if it was a jazz.
Of
And then he
course.
was like, "No, I want you to sing it like this." And he sang it for me, and I recorded
Yeah.
it on my phone. And I came back the next week, and I just did it exactly like him, just to a T. And he was like, "What?" He's like, "You're
Mm,
like a legit opera singer." And
mm,
I was like, "Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's cool." And he was like, "No, like this is rare. Like most people can't do this." Um,
right.
and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't take it very seriously. In fact, I didn't go to a lot of my voice lessons that first year. I used to skip them all the time. First year of college, I was a party animal. I was not again. I was still that same kid. Finally, I smartened up. I moved into another studio, and my voice teacher, she was really my first real voice teacher. Like she was the
Okay.
one, and she changed my life. Her name was Kathleen Arecki. She passed away, a
Oh.
while ago now. But she was just the best thing for me. She heard that I had a lot of talent, and what I loved about her as a teacher was she didn't just teach me stuff for the sake of teaching. Like she
Hmm.
let me follow my gift. She let me harness, and if there was something she didn't know how to address, she would just leave it alone. She wouldn't force me to do some weird like stuff to force a habit on me. Because
Yeah.
early on, like I couldn't sing high. I couldn't sing like really too like anything above middle C felt high for me because I was like a bass. And
Okay.
so instead of like trying to figure out how to force me to sing up there, she just gave me rep that was comfortable. I really learned how to navigate my passaggio really well. I learned how to like blend registers really well. And then when it was time, she moved me on to a voice teacher that really knew how to specialized in my voice. So what
Mm,
ended up happening with her, and she was just huge for me. So all right. So my senior year, I couldn't afford college. I had to like drop out for a semester just because I didn't have the money.
wow.
Well,
Hmm.
she got the president of the school involved. They ended up figuring it out. I was still a student. I was still in chorus. I was still taking voice lessons. They just kept pushing me along, and it was really because
Oh.
she got involved. She started signing me up for competitions. I loved Cheryl Milnes, great American baritone, just an incredible voice. And she
Yeah.
ended up signing me up for a competition that he was judging so that I could go down and meet him. I ended up winning the People's Choice Award. I got to work with Cheryl Milnes, and Cheryl Milnes gave me some feedback, and he was like, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take the Messiah aria. That was like one of my go-tos. He's like, you're going to do the Boston Nats competition. So told Dr. Arecki this. She immediately signed me up for Boston Nats, won first place at Boston Nats, and earned a full ride scholarship to New England Conservatory with that competition. And all of that just happened because, you know, Dr. Arecki was really, really, she really nurtured my talent. And I don't know where I'd be today if it wasn't for her.
Wow.
So yeah,
Well,
when she passed
that's
away,
a
she ended up leaving like her whole library and she left her whole library to me and my wife. And, like, yeah, she was really special.
So that's a lot to unpack, but I actually want to highlight something really, really important that you just totally like glossed over. And that is that in 7th grade, when you were asked in front of the cafeteria to just sing, that you did.
Yeah.
And really that's actually where it all started. You actually mastered mimicry, audiation, and mimicry with that first kind of commercial jingle that got you noticed. And then in 7th grade, without any inhibitions, without caring what the other kids in the seats next to you at the cafeteria were going to think of you, you were asked to do something, you showed up big, and then life started showing up big for you. And I see this beautiful like interweaving of just favor on your life and on your voice from that moment on. And actually, mimicry showed up another time when that opera teacher gave you his version of the song and you went home, and without technical training really, you just listened to it and you mimicked back vocally what you heard. And then he was like, oh, you're an opera singer. And you're probably thinking, no, I'm trying to sound like what you gave me. Like, I'm just mimicking, right? And I think as for singers listening to this, like, that is so key. A lot of times you just need the context of someone doing it once first to A, prove to your ears and your reality that A, it's possible, but B, that if they can do it, then you probably can sing it back. And I even find myself sometimes, I'm about to perform Defying Gravity 8 times in one day, and I'm listening to Cynthia Eriva place these notes, not because I can't place them myself, but because I actually think she did it in a masterful way that's sustainable. And so I'm like, what does her mouth look like when she's doing that? Maybe I try that. You know, is it easier? Is it harder? Do I tweak stuff? And I think the art of mimicry when you're singing is often overlooked and actually kind of demonized, because people think, oh, well, then you're not an original artist and you don't have your own sound. Well, there's nothing new under the sun, and there is no new sound. You take smatterings and pieces and parts of these things and put it together, and then becomes your own sound. But I just don't want to gloss over the fact that you showing up big with no inhibitions in 7th grade, and you not being afraid or ashamed or apprehensive to mimic, really catapulted you into this place where even if you couldn't afford to be somewhere, even if you didn't have a right to be somewhere, like a way was made for you anyway. And I think that's a really powerful lesson for anybody listening. If just because you may not have the right or the finances to be there, if you show up big and
Right.
you constantly are like, hey, I deserve to be here on merit, like, good things will come to you, ways will be made, doors will be opened. Wow, that's so great.
Yeah, it's funny too, because I have this other side of me. I'm very competitive. I'm a really competitive
No.
person. I just have that in me. And one thing that I've actually never told anyone, this is the first time I'm actually talking about this. When we were younger, I think I was in like 6th grade. It might have even been that same year. It might have even been 7th grade. My dad and stepmom, they bought my step cousin a karaoke machine as a gift. And my brother and I were there while she got it. And I was like, Steve, this is so cool. Look at this karaoke. I would love that. Like, this is so cool. And my dad dropped us off at home. We're going into my mom's house. And I was like, Steve, how come we don't have like a karaoke machine like that? He looked at it and he was like, because we're not that good. We're just not that good. And I was like, that was when that chip just started stacking on my shoulder. I was like, we're not that good? Oh. Well, we're going to change that.
I'll
Sure
show
enough.
him. Wow.
Same year. Right into it. Yeah. I was like, I'd forgotten about that memory, and I remembered it like I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that moment. It's like, that was like a big
Wow.
moment for me. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was kind of like the penultimate or the fuel to the fire. And so this might be a good time to like plug and mention this. So Danny and we wrote an original collab that we're releasing. It's called Not Afraid to Die. Super excited about it. It's going to be
Yeah.
so epic when it's done. And by the time this is released, maybe it's released. So check it out in the description box if it's there. Not Afraid to Die. But something when we were collabing, actually, you and I were talking a lot about that. Like you lyrically had a lot to say about like chip on my shoulder, proving haters wrong. And as we were kind of brainstorming lyrics, this sort of through line came up a lot. And we did talk about like some childhood things, but you didn't mention that. And I think that's
Yeah.
so fascinating because it does seem to me like that was probably like certain people are motivated in different ways. Certain people are motivated by like negative experiences, whereas other people, it just doesn't light the fire as much as like a positive reinforcement does. And I think you've admitted that you kind of err on the side of like, tell me I can't do something. That's
Yeah.
all I need to hear. And it
Big
seems like
time.
that was the thing for
Huge.
singing for you.
My idol growing up was always Tom Brady. Tom Brady was my guy because I grew up 20 minutes from Gillette Stadium, so I mean it'd be crazy
Wow.
not to root for the Patriots. They were the
Of course.
greatest, And Tom Brady was our guy, and the coolest thing about him was he didn't get drafted until the 6th round, so every team passed on him at least 6 times. He was 199th overall pick. There were 6 quarterbacks picked before him. He was like 4th on the depth chart his rookie year. Didn't even play. Finally worked his way up to maybe being the backup, and one day he got put in, and everyone was like, "Oh God, look at our backup. This guy stinks." And he went in there and he just lit it up. He
Crushed
showed
it.
up.
Yeah.
He showed up in a big way. You know what I mean? And he continued to. That was what's really cool about Brady too, was that he just continued to keep going. He was relentless about it, and
Yeah.
I love that. Like, to me, that means everything to me. And I started watching Brady when I was in 7th grade. That was when
Wow,
Brady went in.
interesting.
And so like I got to follow his whole career really throughout my whole music journey. And I mean a lot of that too like comes into play. It was like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Well, I mean, I could get like a similar job to like what my parents got, or I could go for singing. I mean, if Tom Brady can be the quarterback of the Patriots, I think I could be a singer. You know what I mean? Like
Ooh.
that was another thing that I used to think about. And I know a lot of people watching this might not like Tom Brady. It's not about that. That's not the big takeaway.
Whatever. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The takeaway here is that like I was motivated by that.
It gave you a huge example of someone who showed up big and got really successful from it. And there then was that if then scenario. Well, if they did this, then I could probably do this. And I think where people end up missing their calling a lot of times is when they don't have the guts to say the then. Like, well, they did that, but it's not an if then, it's an if but. Like, well, if they did this, then maybe they were just special, but I'm not, and I can't, and my parents don't think I can, or and then they find an excuse not to, and that's how you end up working the job like your parents did. And not to say that there's not honor and dignity in that, but if you have a call on your life to do something scary, especially as a man who, the stereotype is to protect and provide more so than I think, and maybe I'll get blown up in the comments for this, but it's true. Traditional roles, like especially I have a son. My mentality is different if I had a daughter versus a son, and I want them both to be successful. But especially as a man, like you think, okay, well, what am I going to do when I grow up, and how am I going to make money to live a comfortable life and like to
Right.
provide for a future wife and kids? And so I think it's very fascinating that that Tom Brady was your guy to sort of help you get over that if to the then and not an if to a
Yeah.
but. And I actually want to touch on that. So like after you graduated college, as a man now, like what was next? How were you planning to find ways to like create a career after this and after the safety of college and that's all fun and games, right? But like, okay, now I'm done with college. What's next?
Yeah. Well, I got really lucky because NEC offered me a full ride scholarship and a stipend on top of that. And so what happened was, all right, so my college girlfriend, Jen, who was my tutor. I mean, Jen was my rock throughout college. She really, really, like, it was funny. Like, Jen and Dr. Arecki used to have meetings about me, essentially. All right, well, because I think they both just saw a lot of potential in me. You know what I mean? And like, they wanted
Yeah.
to strategize and be like, how do we really help this blossom? Not that we
Yeah.
didn't do this for Jen too, like we did for Jen. Like Jen and I, we did a lot of fundraising to do summer programs and all that. Um, but Jen ended up going to UNCG, North Carolina, Greensboro, for a semester, and I went to NEC, and she ended up transferring to NEC for that second year. So she got to join me up. Jen's my wife now, for anyone watching.
Yes. Happy
And
ending.
yes, and we had we had like a patron up in New Hampshire that used to love coming to our shows, and he offered to like pay our rent for us in Boston, and so we were really really lucky. Like that was like sure we didn't come from money, we didn't have a lot of that, but we made these opportunities, right?
Yeah.
We put ourselves out there in a big way. We used to do lots of concertizing. We used to do lots of like opportunities to really try and harness these relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
so NEC happened, which was like, again, it was safe, right? It was a nice, safe environment. Didn't really have to pay for housing. I was getting that stipend, wasn't paying for
Mm-hmm.
school. I got a voice lesson every single day. My voice teacher had
Wow.
me come in he used to have me come in every day on his lunch, and he would warm me up every day. And then I would do the hour once a week on top of that, plus all my coachings. Plus,
Amazing.
the big thing at NEC was Stephen Lord, who anyone who's in the opera circuit, they all know that name because in those days, he was listed as top 25 most powerful people in opera, and he was only one of four conductors on that list. But he ended up he ended up getting canceled essentially years later,
Mm-hmm.
and so very well known, not just because of how powerful he was, but because of kind of what happened with him later. But he picked one student to really like just mentor
Yeah.
per year. And the 2 years I was there, he picked me. And
Amazing.
Stephen Lord was the music director at Opera Theater of St. Louis. And he went on sabbatical the year that I graduated NEC, but he still wanted me to audition. And this is another chip on my shoulder lesson. I go into the audition. I sing Handel's Messiah. Sorge in Fausta. I sing Sorge in Fausta, which is a similar to Messiah. And I didn't get in. Like
Oh.
I know I emailed Stephen Lord and I was like, hey, thank you so much for the opportunity. Unfortunately, I didn't get in. Then he texts me, you didn't get in? I was like, no, I didn't get in. What do you, I don't know, man. I didn't get in. And all of a sudden, literally seconds later, an email came in congratulating me for making it into Opera Theater of St. Louis. So again,
He's like thumbs on fire.
yes, got really lucky, got really freaking lucky because Stephen Lord pulled some strings to get me at OTSL. But
Interesting.
that chip just stacked on that show, lots of chips, because
Right.
I was like, they didn't even want me, and Stephen Lord wasn't there that summer, so I was gonna feel like I was alone. I didn't have like
Ooh.
the person that really champions me wasn't gonna be there. So you know what I did? This was bold. The full ride scholarship recipient, mind you, turned down the role that they gave me at NEC. I didn't do the role. I said no. They were pissed. I didn't do my master's recital. I said nope. We're gonna hold off on that. And all of like the professors were like, "What are you gonna do then? Like, what are you doing
Right.
here?" And I was like, "I'm focusing on my Opera Theater of St. Louis rep. That's it. That's my job. My job is to go out there and show all of them that they made the worst mistake ever by like not accepting me into their program. I want them to feel stupid. Like that was my goal. And I showed, mind you, I was in the choir. It wasn't even that big of an assignment, but I was in there was 4 shows, 4 choirs to learn, plus some cover assignments, some smaller ones. They didn't give me anything too big because they already picked their whole roster, right? So I got slim
Wow.
pickings at the end. But I showed up to the first rehearsal and everyone has their scores out. And I took mine and I closed it and I put it down next to me. And I was like, I'm memorized.
Mic
I
drop.
was literally the only one that did that. And I remember James Robinson comes in. He was the artistic director. And he informs us like, hey, everyone, unfortunately, we're really behind schedule. We got to go into staging tomorrow. And everyone was like, oh my God, we're going into staging? Like, we haven't even done any music rehearsals. And I was like, oh, this is my moment. And I like brought it. I mean, we were doing Pirates of Penzance, which is a comedic like operetta anyways, that
Right.
I was just out there being hilarious, making stuff up. And the director just loved me. He was like, this guy is hilarious. This guy is like, he's really funny and he's great at singing. So at the end of that season, they apologized to me for not believing in me. And
Ooh.
then they said, we want to write an opera for you. It's going to be written by Ricky Ian Gordon, who is like a well-known opera
Whoa.
composer.
Yeah.
And the lead lady is going to be Stephanie Blythe, who's a well-known opera singer, sings at the Met. And they were
Yeah.
like, and you're going to play a really big role. You're going to have an aria. You're going to have a bunch of duets. You're going to be on stage essentially the whole time. It's a huge assignment. If you're not ready for it, it's totally fine. I was like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Right.
And
This I'll say
that's
yes to.
exactly. And that opportunity landed me on the cover of Opera News at like, I mean, I'm like 25 years old at the time. It
Right.
just, I went big. I mean, I went
Wow.
hard. And yeah, I earned that opportunity. But I'll tell you, NEC was not happy at first, but then afterwards they were pretty happy. They were like, hey, that's one of our guys, and he's on the cover of Opera News. So,
Right. It's one of our guys that we said no to, but it's one of our guys.
right.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, props to NEC. They gave me a lot of opportunities, but I did go back and finish my master's recital. So I did do the recital. I just did it a semester late. Not a big deal.
Right. Wow, I just think it's so fascinating again how like people can be fueled by different forms of motivation, and I think yours is so tell me that I
Right.
can't and I am going to blow you out of the water. Like interesting motivator, but super powerful for you.
Yeah, when it's funny. This is a quick, just going off that real quick. My dad is like, my dad is one of those people who motivates me the most because he is a bit of a naysayer sometimes.
Mm.
When I got my dog, my golden retriever, my little puppy, he was a naysayer about it. He's like, geez, it's going to be a lot of work. I don't think you're going to like this. It's going to be a lot on you. Got a lot going on. And now, I mean, Wyatt has so many titles. He's got over 60 commands. Like we do agility, we do obedience, we do trick dog. He's an elite trick dog performer through
Oh,
AKC. Like
wow.
he can perform. I mean, he is a dream dog, and it's all because of that moment. Like it was that phone call where I was like, "Oh, I'm going to bury you with this." like
It's going
I'm
to be the
like,
best dog
you
ever.
don't even know what you just lit up inside of me. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm kind of the same way. I know. I remember, like, I had just a junky car that was paid off. That I don't care about cars, and I lived out of it. I had so many clothes. I was the typical girl with the bomb that went off in the car. And I got a nice car, a big girl car, I call it. And my dad was like, "You're gonna have that thing trashed in 2 weeks because Simons don't care about cars." And I was like, "I'm gonna show you."
Yeah.
I can turn over a new leaf or two, and I don't even have to be the one to clean it. So I hired a professional guy to come over every 2 weeks and clean that car. And to this day, you could eat off the floor of my car. And I show my dad, I'm like, "Remember that time years ago when you said, 'Give it to me?'" And he's like,
Oh, I love it.
"I mean, fine, And it's funny how like just little things they can get under your skin. And I find that it's the people that mean the most to you that have the most effect on that naysaying, right?
For
And
sure.
that is life and death are held in the power of the tongue. And for those of you watching who are parents of kids or young adults who love to sing, like please be careful about what you say and the words that you speak to them, because yes, it's good to be motivated by kind of like opposition, but there's got to be this voice of truth too that says, yes, yeah, it is difficult, but I do believe in you. I do think that's the healthier, more
Oh,
positive,
definitely.
uplifting place
100%.
to come from. And
100%. And
unfortunately, a lot of us don't get that.
for me, like, all right, so my family's very supportive. So there's not a lot of opportunities for chips. So when I get them, I take them. You know what I mean? Like that's
Okay,
that's how
that's
I
good.
look at it. There's not really that many opportunities for them, but when they're there, you're damn right I'm going to take it. It's like, hey, a little challenge. It's like don't tell me I was good, because if you just tell me I'm good all the time, then I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to get that motivation that I really want.
So I want to get into after college and as you're getting really into after NEC, you're getting into singing as a career. I want to get into how these viral collabs started, because you've had some serious success in viral collabs. So talk to us, for those who don't know, talk to us about your most viral, how it came about, and sort of the why behind it.
That was a big time manifestation. So, all right. So we got to go back to like COVID times, because the
Okay.
opera industry completely shut down during COVID. All of the cool gigs that I had lined up, gone, right? I was working at University of Hartford at the Hart School of Music, voice teacher.
Nice.
And at the time, TikTok was blowing up. I was teaching the virtual lessons to my students. And so just to kind of set the stage, this was that weird
Yeah.
time where we're all stuck inside and using
Right.
like Instacart to get our groceries. So this was that time. And my students were the ones that used to be like, hey, how come you're not on like social media singing. Like, why don't you sing? And I was like, oh, sometimes I post something on Facebook, and they just chuckle. They're like, Facebook, like what for your like 300 friends on Facebook, maybe
Right.
tops, right?
Grandma.
And exactly. So they were like, no, no, no. If you really want to like be heard, you got to go on TikTok. And I was like, nah, I don't really do social media.
Right.
I don't do that social media stuff. That's not really my thing.
Right.
Well, I had a student come in and she was working on the One Breath Dancing Queen Challenge. That's what she wanted to learn how to do because it was trending on TikTok. And so I was like, you know what?
I
I'm her
remember.
voice teacher. I'm going to show her like how to do this. Like I'm going to work through it with her because there was like some chromatics in that were little that she
Yeah.
was messing up. And so I was like working on that with her. And I was able to do it like first try. And she was like, oh my God, you got to put that on TikTok. You got to put that up. And I didn't think anything of it. I did not put that on TikTok. But then like a week later, my dad came over. We were doing a DIY project. And I brought it up to him. And he was like, well, what do you got to lose? You should put that up there. And so I went out into the garage. Like, mind you, like I had done a workout. I had my weightlifting belt on. Like, I literally looked like a guy like just working out in his garage gym. And I was like, screw it. I got the phone. Let's do it. So I put it up. And I'm not going to say it went viral, but it got 60,000 views for my very first post. Like
I mean, a lot of people would love that. Yeah.
to go from like having never done it to being like, oh my God, my students were right. I mean, 60,000 eyeballs just watched this,
Yeah.
right? Like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. And it had thousands of comments. And all the comments were like, post more. Like, we want to hear
Yeah.
more, do more. And so that was when like I realized the value in doing like social media. And it was fun. Like throughout the day, my dad and I were looking on TikTok to see the comments. Like it was a fun time.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
so I put another video up and it didn't do as well. It got like 5,000 views. And I was like, oh, this sucks. Put another one up again, another like 5,000 views. I was like, you know what? I don't know. So I stopped doing it for a while. But then my students kept sending me videos of these like bass singers singing sea shanties. Like, man, these
Yeah.
look at these guys. They're singing the Wellerman, and it's like Bobby Bass and Luke the Voice. And they're like, man, you should be singing with these guys. And in the back of my head, I was like, yeah, you're right. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to do that. That's what we're going to do this year. I'm going to meet these guys. And so on New Year's, I think it was 2022 of New Year's, I made like a resolution. I'm going to post every single day until I go viral, like actually viral. And then I'm going to reassess. I'm going to look at everything and I'm going to kind of strategize from there. And so by day 4, I think it was, I went viral. I sang Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. And
Love
it
the
did.
song.
It got like, you know, 1 million views or so. And I woke up one morning with a bunch of followers on TikTok. And that was when I was like, all right, let's figure out how to meet Bobby Bass. Let's figure out how to meet Luke the Voice. There was a few other people on that list too. David Michael Frank was one of them. Those are the people that were going viral at the time.
Yeah.
And so I just started hopping on their comment feeds, duetting their videos, just like, hey, notice me, because I saw value in this. It's like we could make music someday. That'd be really cool. And one day, Bobby Bass liked one of my videos, and I in real time was like, oh no way, Bobby he liked my video, and then he liked another video, and then it said Bobby Bass is following you, and I was like, oh no way, I just earned a follow from this guy. And so I hopped in on one of his TikTok lives while he was going live. And this is at the time where we were singing Hoist the Colors, like in stairwells and stuff like this. Like this was
Yes.
before it went super viral, but was still like a
Yes.
bass thing. And I hopped in and I was like, Bobby, how do I like join one of these collabs? And he was like, oh, Big Brev's here. If anyone's not following him, go follow this guy. He's really good at singing. And he's like reading it. He's like, how do I join in a collab? He's like, he just gets on his computer and he's like, that's it. How about that? We'll talk later. And I don't know what he wrote on his computer, but like he just like did this little type on the computer and then went about it. And then he reached out to me later and was like, hey, I'm doing this big project of Hoist the Colors. And
Ooh.
we would love to have you do any of the higher vocals. Because one thing about me when I sing high is, sure, I can sing high, but I can still carry the weight up where you can still tell I'm a bass.
Right.
Because I'm not
Right.
I'm not necessarily switching into that mixed voice all the time or the light falsetto. And so that was what he had arranged for me, was to do all the descant high stuff. But he also wanted me to do the low stuff so we could blend it in. And so that was how that started, with that relationship with those guys. You know, Luke the Voice is in that, Bobby Bass, Eric Holloway's in there, E-Bucks, Davide, you know, the whole crew of
Yeah.
basses.
It was so good.
And
So
obviously, I mean, that took on a life of its own, right? I looked online
Right.
and that got 13.5 billion streams on TikTok. just on TikTok. It's insane.
Unreal.
Yeah. So that was how that all started. I will say, like, I'm big on that, putting it into the universe. Like, I'm gonna have a goal, and I'm gonna just be relentless and find it. I did this again when Avi Kaplan was coming to Boston. Like, I saw it on his schedule, he's coming to Boston. So I remember this. I told Jen, my wife, I was like, babe, Avi Kaplan's coming to Boston. I'm gonna duet him. He's gonna see it, and then I'm gonna meet him. He's gonna be like, yo, I want to meet you. And that's what I told her. So that night, I duetted him on TikTok. That night, he liked it. Then he started following me. Then the next day, I was in a voice lesson, and my phone goes off, and it's a message from Avi Kaplan. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in a lesson. It's a message. And I told my student, I was like, do you know who Avi Kaplan is? He's like, yeah, he's from Pentatonics. I love him. And I was like, he just messaged me, and he was like, read it. And so I pulled it up, and he was like, hey brother, I loved your duet. I'm going to be coming to Boston on Wednesday. Do you want to come perform with me?
Come on.
So
Come on.
Next thing I know, I'm like, wow, now I'm singing with Avi all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's because I put it out there. I believe it. Because I really believe it when I do it. I don't just like hope it happens. Like, I really believe it. And then the other thing is, if it doesn't happen, well, then I just get another chip on my shoulder, and it's great.
And it's great, because we love those chips.
We love those chips. Yeah.
Chips and dip. Well, I think that's such an important, and often like it goes over the heads of listeners, because again, like, I don't want this to get lost on people who are watching and listening this. Just because Big Brev is on this podcast does not make him in a class of his own. It doesn't put me in a class of my own. We are people that just constantly and relentlessly show up big, and we truly believe in the things that we're doing and that things are going to happen. It can be you too. It does not need to be like, oh, well, they're an exception. It's not an if but, it's an if then. And I want you guys to get this who are listening. Like, get what he's saying here. He said it, he believed it, he received it. There's something sacred to that. And
sure.
Yeah, like, okay, I'm not hippie go free woo woo manifestation all day every day, but I love what he said about, and if it doesn't happen, it's not like, oh, well, I never should have believed it, or, oh, I was just full of BS, I'm never going to do that again. It's like, oh, okay, it's time to duet him 3 times now. It's time to, like, reach out to him via DM. It's time to make it even more of a thing. It's not time to shrink back. It's a time to lean in more. That's the stuff of what successful people have in any vertical of any industry. It's not just singular to music, although I think it's especially important in this industry, because there is no, go to point A, then point B, and point C, and boom, Bob's your uncle, you're famous. That there's a different story for every single person in this industry, unlike, say, football, where you do great in high school, you do great in college, you get drafted, you keep trying, you work your way up. There are steps that at least are seen and sort of realistic. In the music industry, there's not that. It doesn't exist, and everybody's story is different. It's a long and winding road. It's like Spaghetti Junction. There's just no one way.
I think we need to just keep throwing darts at the dartboard. That's it. Just keep throwing darts at the dartboard, because eventually one of them is going to hit the bullseye. Just keep throwing them. And when you hit a bullseye, you don't regret all the ones that didn't hit the bullseye. You're just happy that, hey, I hit it. I hit a bullseye. I'm good. This is huge. You know what I mean? It's like,
yes.
You don't regret all the ones that didn't hit. It's not how it works. You just got to keep throwing them. And the other thing too is, like, when you're doing like this type of stuff, have a strategy. That's a big one. Like, map it out, figure out, like, okay, because that's the second part. It's like, this is what I'm going to do, and I believe it, and I believe it because I'm going to do this. Like, even with Avi, it was like, I'm going to duet him. He's going to see it. Like, I'm going to comment on his feed or whatever. I'm going to make sure that Avi sees this, right?
Yeah.
But but also the other part of that too is, if I duetted him and it sounded like crap, I wasn't going to post that. It's like be like, I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to
don't be dumb.
Like, yeah, be smart about it. So
totally.
Like, we also have to be honest with ourselves and have like a process and really like follow that process. The reason I love singing so much is because it's not just this like mythological thing. Like, it's muscles. It's muscles that we can work on. And just like you can at the gym, where you're working on your bicep muscle, your tricep muscle, or, your lats, you can break down the voice that way too. Like, you can work on the cricothyroid. You can work on the thyroid. If you're trying to get some of those, like, some more of those like glottal fry, like, onsets, you can work on fry. You can work in pure falsetto. You can work on the
100%.
transition between the two. Like, you can really isolate and work on these muscles and listen back and adjust the vocal track, change the tongue position, change the vowel. You can
Absolutely.
play with all the dials until you've figured out this is the sound that I like. This is what I'm going
Yeah.
to record a duet with. Now I'm going to do my duet because I figured it out. I'm going to sing it like 50 times if I need to until I figure out exactly how I want to do it. And then
Right.
boom, now I have a product that I'm really actually proud of. I didn't just wing it like with a little speaker. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I
Hope and a
really
prayer.
yeah, exactly. And
So good. So true.
yeah, I think that can't get overlooked either. Yeah.
So let's talk about the Bass Singing Academy that you started, and also your amazing merch. Because I gotta learn from you on the merch thing. I
Yes,
think you have
yes,
a great
yes.
merch game.
Okay, so Bass Singer Academy is a program that I'm starting with my good friend Peter Barber. He's another bass in the network. He's in a lot of the Stairwell collaborations with me. So you posted once a reaction to Bobby Bass, Peter Barber, and I singing Misty
Yes.
Mountains.
Yep.
So he's in all of those videos. Mind you, over 200 million views across like those platforms with those videos.
Crazy. Yeah.
Super cool, right? Like we're still
Super
pinching
cool.
ourselves over that. So one day, so I have an online program called Studio Brev, where I mentor singers really from around the
Yeah.
world on the internet. And one day I was just looking at analytics and I saw that so many basses wanted to learn like more about extension techniques, subharmonics, chest fry, resonance, things like
Yeah.
that.
The
And
fun
so
stuff.
and so I reached out to Peter and I was like, dude, there's a lot of people that could really use our help. Peter is a established opera singer too. He sings at he went to AVA. He sings
Yeah.
he sings at a lot of big houses, great singer. And so I was like, what if we like combined forces and made like a really cool course? Like something that these people could really like fall back on and really learn like how to harness like their bass essentially. And so
Yeah.
we started brainstorming. We looked at a lot of what I was doing on Studio Brev and we kind of adapted. Peter obviously added a lot of his technical, things here. I added mine. And essentially what it is it's a program that we're going to be dropping soon for people who want to really tap into low singing. And we're super
Amazing.
excited about it. It's
So
got
cool.
we're almost done recording like the first portion of all the course materials. And then after that, what we're doing is we're doing like every month, we're going to log on and we're going to drop like another episode. And it's going to be just exclusive for people in this, Bass Singer Academy. And it's going to be all geared towards helping basses just get better at singing low notes, essentially.
So
And
if you're a bass listening to this, you know what to do. We'll have that in the description box. You need to go ahead and clickety click and do yourself a big favor, because I don't know of any bass singers in this world that are better than Big Brev and his crew. Like you collab with the best. You are so good at what you do, Danny. And I remember hearing you and being like, I gotta meet that guy. Like I gotta collab with. I need a piece of that. Like
I appreciate it.
it's just so mind blowing, the capability and the depth of capability to your voice. It's amazing to
One
behold.
one amazing thing that's come out of this is, so I'm in academia, as you know. I'm a geek when it comes to pedagogy and the vocal tract,
Yes.
muscles, all that. Well, Jen and I started reaching out to ENTs and speech pathologists to try and figure out what is this subharmonic thing that we are doing? What is
Yes.
this phenomenon? How am I doing this? Because I know how I
Right.
think I'm doing it, but what does it
Right.
look like? Well, we ended up teaming up with, some big dogs in the speech pathology industry. To put it lightly, when we walked down the hallway of of the office that we were getting studied in, this is the same team that worked on Adele, that did her surgeries.
Wow.
John Mayer, Julie Andrews,
Cool.
Steven Tyler. Like these are the big dogs right in Boston at Mass General Hospital, and we're working with professionals from Harvard and MIT,
So cool.
Berkeley College of Music. Well, our team lead, Tara, she did a high-speed scope of me and Bobby Bass doing subharmonics, and we're really, really excited to drop that. I'm going to be dropping that on my YouTube to really
Oh.
completely demystify subharmonics. And the research blew everyone in that office away. They were saying we'd never seen anything like this before. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
just
so
like
fun.
because it sounds impossible. It's like
It does.
there are days where I'm literally lower than the piano, and I just have no business being that low. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Like I'm
so
saying, like when I said in the intro, like your ear cannot really process. Like I can't even quite hear the
yeah,
note. I'm trying
I
to, but
know.
it's like,
It's
what
insane.
is
Like,
that?
and what Tara even did was she was like, no, I don't just want to look at it. I want to do an acoustic analysis. So she got MIT, like she got like sound engineers out of MIT to now like look at the sound, figure out the oscillation pattern of the vocal folds. Why is this doing that? It's
Wow.
just so cool. And so a lot of that's going to be going on YouTube, and then even more of it on Bass Singer Academy. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. That's like a big project coming down. So
Wow. And going to and tag me on that. I want to know when it releases. I will spread
for
the word.
sure.
And to your name, Big Brev. Like your name's Danny Brevik, right? But like
Yep.
Big Brev is such a cool name. Help me learn how that came about and like how that ties into your merch.
Well, okay, so I mean, my last name's Brevik. It's funny because no one calls my dad Brev. No one called my grandfather Brev. It seems like a pretty obvious nickname for Brevik, but for
Yeah.
some reason I'm the only one. So that's kind of cool. It's not like when someone says Brev, my brother or my dad all like turn their head like, huh? Okay.
Right.
I'm the only one. And so when I picked my name on Instagram, Brev was already taken. And actually, every time, there's one person in particular that only ever called me Big Brev. Just he never called me Brev. Everyone else called me Brev, but he always called me Big Brev. When I would go to Nantucket to visit my friend Nick, his friend Tyler used to always call me Big Brev. And I always used to, for whatever reason, always used to resonate with me. Like I would expect him to say it. If he ever called me Brev, it would have been like one of those things like, dude, why are you calling me that?
Weird.
You always call me Big Brev.
Right.
So when I was making my Instagram name, it was just obvious for me. I was like, wait, what does McDade always call me? Oh, Big Brev. Boom. That was it. That was the only reason. And just turned
Okay.
into
I
that.
love it.
Otherwise it would have just been Brev. Because yeah, most of
Okay.
my friends call me Brev. The merch. So my merch, I got one of the cups right here. These are like the steins that we have. I got the Big
Oh, I
Brev.
love the Stein. So cool.
And then it
So
says Big Brev
you.
on the back.
Ah, that's great.
This is like one of the shirts. Just Big Brev. It's got the Viking
What does it
ship,
say?
and then
Big boats. Big boats. What?
big boats, low notes.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good. Love it.
So the creative what was her title? Creative director or creative person at my gym that I go to. She does all the merch down there. Plus she's the interior decorator down there. Her name's Rebecca, and she's just incredibly talented. And one day she just asked if I wanted to do content for the gym, and
Oh.
it was kind of one of the things like I'm a professional content creator. So I don't know. We'll think about it. But ultimately, I spent so much time at the gym anyways that I just started filming workouts and was like, here you go. You can take
Right.
this. Here, you can have this. We ended up becoming really close. She's like one of my best friends now. And she asked if I wanted to do merch. And so she just started, busting her ass again, throwing darts at the dartboard and making
Yeah.
some really badass merch. And so we got cups, koozies, shirts. We got sweatpants, notebooks. I don't know. We got a ton of stuff up there.
That's amazing.
All of it was like designed by her, her and I. Like we
So
designed it
cool.
all. And then the other thing that she did was actually my YouTube studio that we're in the process of making.
Which it looks so good. I've seen it like morph as we've been co-writing together.
So she does all the interior decorating at the gym that I go to. She also does a bunch of other places. And so when I wanted to do my YouTube studio, I brought her on for that as well. And so the YouTube studio, I'm really excited about. I think this is going to be my next big chapter, is getting on YouTube and doing more.
Yeah.
I want to do more like vocal analysis. So for Bass Academy, I've been doing quite a bit of it, where I'll play a bass singer and I'll explain like the musculature that they're using, and I like to mimic, and so I mimic it while I'm giving the examples. And Jen was listening to those actually just today upstairs, and she was like, "You need to do way more of this on YouTube. I think people would love to hear
Yeah.
you break that down more." Coming from a bass, right? Because there's not a whole lot of
it's a
basses
unique
doing-
perspective.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of us out there. So
Right.
and like even less that are professional voice teachers, and so I want to do more of that too. That's the goal with
Think
this
you should.
studio. This studio I think will be a good place for that.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Lightning round. Here we go. You ready, Danny?
Yep.
Here we go. A genre you're afraid to sing in.
Metal.
Totally me too. Name the first venue you ever performed in.
Holliston Middle School.
Pretty good. A person you'd most want to do a duet with, dead or alive?
Frank Sinatra.
Okay, unexpected. What's the lowest note you've ever hit?
A0.
Oh my gosh. I've never heard anyone say that on this podcast. Would you rather be in a recording studio or singing on a stage?
Ooh, change that. It would have been stage, but these days it's the studio. I love it. I've been loving the
I
studio.
do too. I know. Yeah. Secretly, me too. It's an energy to a stage, but there's something so like the hours just go by in a studio, especially tracking harmonies. I'm like a harmony.
It's so personal. It's for me.
Yeah.
It's for. I mean, hey, being on stage is great, especially when you are like in the zone and you're like, well,
yes.
we are in the. You got the audience in the palm of your hand. It's like there's something about it that just feels so powerful.
It's electric, yeah.
But when you're in your studio, it's so much more like intimate. I can just this is just for me, like, yeah. And like I don't have anyone in the palm of my hands right now, but it's almost like writing in your journal or something. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
it's like a sacred space. Yeah, I get it. Is there a song that you're embarrassed that you like?
No.
Not even Baby Shark?
No, I mean I don't really like Baby Shark. I don't know. The songs for me would be the Franz Along yodeling songs, all the yodel songs. I mean, yeah. he's one of the best yodelers of all time. And I mean, we're talking about unbelievable control over the musculature.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed of it at all. I throw it on for my friends all the time. They're like, dude, why do you listen to this? And I was like, do you not hear how incredible this is? So no, the answer is no.
That's great. I love it. Unashamed. Okay. Earphones or headphones?
Headphones.
I can see that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. What additional music skill would you most like to have on a pro level, like audio engineering, dancing, or playing an additional instrument?
I was going to say piano, but then you said audio engineering. I think that would be more beneficial is audio engineering. Definitely. Audio engineering. Like a
that
producer.
would be mine too.
To be like a
pro level.
Pro level producer. Oh my God. Yes. That's what I would love.
Yeah. We'd save so much money.
Oh my God. And like also it would be my intimate space again too, where I'm not having to like make everything and then send it to someone and just hope it comes out good. It's like I can make it and then I can keep playing with it because I'm a pro and I can be like, ooh, I can do this a little better. I could see me. Yeah. Maybe you might have just unlocked that for me. I might.
No, we just talked about how you need to not edit your videos before we started. No, I'm not. We're not doing that. Okay. No, Danny, no.
Sure.
Okay. What live performance has inspired you the most that you can remember?
Greer Grimsley singing at New England Conservatory in Jordan Hall. Greer Grimsley. He sings Wotan at the Met.
Okay.
Unbelievable voice. The loudest, most powerful voice I've ever heard in my life. And I was front row, and I had the gall to go up to him and ask to take him out for a cup of coffee. And he came with me, and he gave me the best advice, and then he gave me a voice lesson. And it was magical. It was unbelievable. Greer Grimsley, yes.
You're so good at this, by the way. I don't think you've not answered one of them and out of time, so really good job. If you had to choose a non-music related career, what would you do? What would it be?
Boilers, work on boilers and furnaces. I loved that. I did that from, so I got my first job when I was in third grade delivering newspapers. But then when my mom, she started dating her boyfriend, his name's Steve-O. They're now married. But Steve-O worked on boilers and he hired me to be like his helper when I was in ninth grade. And I loved it. I would just climb into the boiler and clean it. There was these big old industrial sized boilers. I literally looked like Dick Van Dyke after he'd done cleaning chimneys. And I did it from ninth grade through into college. And I was really good at it and I really loved it. I mean, it was blue collar work. It was hard and it was hot. We used to have to crank the boilers up to 350 degrees to get the soot nice and loose. And then we could open them up. The soot would be nice and loose. And that's when I would clean it. And I'd be sweaty and gross. But like at the end of the day, you could see what you'd done. Like I could see how clean those boilers were. And now because of my job, they could heat like a hospital or they could heat, like I worked at Boston Globe, they could run the machines. It was a rewarding job. So
there's purpose in it. That's really cool. I love that. That's not what I would have thought, but that's a really cool answer. Last one. If you had an unlimited music gear budget, what one item would you buy?
One item? Oh, man. I don't know. I don't do that stuff. So I'm better computer. Just a really nice computer. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I would have to call my producer and be like, hey, what should I buy?
Right, right. It's a tough question because you think, oh, I'll buy this, and but like, you know, I think for me, like, I know I don't even play it, but I feel like if I could just own a Stradivarius, that would be really cool.
Oh, sure.
Like, maybe I'd be inspired to then learn it. You know,
If I had
something
an
just
unlimited budget, I would have a room in my house just for my producer, and he would be here 24/7, and that would be the quote unquote gear that I
That's
would
smart because in that room you have so many things. I like
Yes.
that. I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Way to work the system. Way to work the system.
Yes, definitely.
Well, Danny, thank you so much for being on today. I'm so excited for our collab. I'm really proud of it. Your voice is incredible. Your heart is even more so. Your work ethic, your drive, your belief in yourself and what you're doing is so inspiring. And I hope that those of you that are listening to this do find the message for you in this being show up big, believe and receive, and don't stop. Like, don't have a strategy, right? Don't be dumb, like we said. But like, if you have a dream, if you know that like doors are opening, people are recognizing that, walk through them, like work to get the prize. Just keep throwing the darts at the dartboard, as Big Brev said. So, Danny, thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you so much. And likewise, back at you. You've been an inspiration for me. I've got to watch your, YouTube blow up, and then your TikTok, and it's inspiring. It's very inspiring. So I love that I love that we have this network and we have this team and that we're all working together. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
There's plenty to go around. And I just think that what you're doing with the Base Academy now and just really pouring out, because I'm a big pourer outer. I just believe so deeply in that. And I love that that's your heart too. That's not just about like artistic accomplishments and endeavors for you yourself, but also like raising up a generation of amazing bass singers too. You're a leader and really a huge authority in that, and you're walking the walk as you teach the talk. So I just love that about you. Thank you so much. And guys, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out the Bass Academy, we're going to have that in the description box below, as well as Brev's merch, because I mean, who doesn't want a shirt that says big boats and low notes? I want one. I'm going to get one. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I love you. I am proud of you. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.